Hi everybody, this is Michael Hildebrand and I'm your host on the Sleeptrust podcast, where I'm talking about how to gain back trust in your ability to have a superb sleep again.
In this week's episode of the Sleeptrust podcast, we have got something to celebrate. Actually, we're celebrating the 100th podcast episode, so it's our anniversary, and we're not going to talk about sleeping pills. That's what I announced last week. We're going to do that next week because I thought for our anniversary, I'm going to share something much better. And this is how you can win your day and your night back. So if you are having sleeping problems at the moment and you don't know where to start because you're confused, don't feel that you've got the energy levels that you would like to have, used to have to run through a day, then in this week's episode, you will get a couple of very clear and simple and proven steps that you must know to guide you back to superb sleep and to those high energy levels at daytime, because that's what we all deserve to have. That's what we all can have, should have. And that's what I'm here to help you to get back again. And as it's our anniversary, I've got an anniversary present for you. So at the end of this podcast, I'm going to share how you can get your little anniversary present, and I'm sure you're going to appreciate that one. But before we move on, I want to use this anniversary to say thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Thanks for sharing your experiences with me. Thanks for every like that you give me and us on social media. Thanks for sharing the posts on social media. I just want you to know that I do not take this for granted. It just is so fantastic to know that you're out there, that you're supporting this, that it helps you. And I really want to say thank you from the depth of my heart. So thanks for that. I know we're still growing. I know there are still a couple of topics like, the sleeping pills and a lot of others that are yet to come and will come. But for now, I just want to say thank you. And if there's one thing that you want to do for our anniversary here, then share this podcast with others. Share it on your social media account. Share it through the word of mouth. Share it in a way that it feels good to you, that it relates to what you are and to the people that you know you can help by sharing this podcast with them. Because there are a lot of people that have problems with their sleep. It's really nearly epidemic. And I believe that the information we've got here is top notch and probably with the best that you could give others to help them to really find not only sleep tips, but also guidance on how to implement things, on what they should do first. And I think that's just so important when we're in that jungle of sleep tips, sleep hygiene, and you name it, to just get a little bit of guidance and get very clear. And this week's episode is going to be one step into that direction. We're going to share very distilled sleep tips. That's what I've got for you here today. And it's not really only sleep tips, but we're going to come to that. You're going to get a very distilled version of what you should be doing to get your first big step back to superb, deep resting sleep. And from there on, you can fine tweak this with, a lot of tips. And we've got a good structure here at Sleeptrust, the Sleeptrust sleep map that you can use to really walk through step by step to see what you should be working on right now. But for now and for today, you're going to get the distilled tips. So let's dive into what we want to do to get back our days. And before we can do so, our nights, obviously. Because without a good, deep resting night of sleep, we're only half the person that we could be, should be, and sometimes even less. And now let's get started with what clear and simple things you should all be doing if you're looking for superb sleep. And these are very straightforward tips. So the first one is to measure what you're doing, actually. Just pick up a pen and a piece of paper, write down what you are doing. When are you going to bed? When are you getting up? And what sleep tips are you implementing? What impact does it have on your sleep? You can use the Sleep Navigator. This is an Excel spreadsheet to get started where you just have to fill it in on your computer. You can also use a white sheet of paper and a pen, but start writing down the things that you are doing and test how your sleep was, how your well-being is at daytime. Very simple. Our brains are going to trick us if we don't do so. Trust me here. Start writing things down. It's a game changer. Step number 2, get into a regular sleep schedule. Yeah, we all heard that. And if you didn't implement that yet, then start with this. Tap into your body rhythm. Try to figure out if you are an early bird or an owl when it comes to going to bed, getting up, and try to adapt the times that they suit your biorhythm best. But definitely keep that sleep schedule regular and try to keep it regular over the weekends too. Otherwise, it's called the social jet lag, right? If you live a complete different life from Monday to Friday that you do on Saturdays and Sundays, on the weekends. So try to keep that regular if you have problems with your sleep. And that's a second very powerful tip. The third thing is how we get started with our days actually. A good night of sleep starts in the morning when we get up. It's the result of a good day lived. What you should do when you get up is, first off, avoid using the snooze button. It's just torture. If you love that, maybe do it on a weekend to reward yourself, but don't use the snooze button. Get up right away, hydrate your body, drink a glass of water. Watch that water isn't too cold, so maybe drink it a little bit warmish, and then start to move your body. Don't do, heavy workouts, but start to move your body. The best way to do so is to go outside and have a walk. That way you will catch sunlight, which is the next thing that you want to do in the morning. Get your body exposed to sunlight. If you get sunlight in the morning, this is so powerful, right? Your body is going to get a clear signal that it's daytime now. So you're going to feel more awake, feel more energized. Your entire biorhythm is going to start moving. And it's also going to help you to fall asleep better at nighttime. It's also proven that if you get enough sunlight in the morning, that blue light in the nighttime, so typically there's a light called blue light. It's one, color of light. In white light, there are different spectrums of light. And blue light is the light that we've got receptors in our eyes that transport that information into our brains. And essentially, it tells our brains that it's still daytime. So some people are very sensitive to blue light and it prevents them from falling asleep at nighttime. But typically, if you get enough sunlight in the morning over the course of the day, then you will not be harmed by blue light as much in the nighttime, which our TVs, our smartphones, all of these devices emit too. So get up in the right way. This is a very essential sleep tip. You don't hear it too often because most people are focused around, sleep hygiene and stuff like, what can you do in the evening to get to better sleep? But getting up the right way is a game changer for many of us. Avoid the snooze button, get up right away, drink a glass of water, start to move your body, get your body into motion, and best have a walk outside, get exposed to sunlight for, I'd say, half an hour, something like that. And that way you're well set up. If you want to, I know I share that, from time to time, you can also have a cold shower afterwards. That's definitely going to help you to kickstart your body. It's a thing that I've been doing for, oh my God, I can't believe it, over half a year now. I started at the end of I started in December. I started to do this in December, and since I'm doing it every single day. I think there were 5 or 6 days I missed out when I wasn't feeling that good, and I thought, okay, better not do that today. But other than that, I'm doing it every single day, and I can assure you, it still doesn't feel comfortable, but after 3 to 5 minutes having a cold shower, I'm wide awake. So it serves me, and it's supposed to be healthy too. And in the evening, that's going to be the last thing that I'm going to close this one up with. Follow the 4-2-1 rule. 4-2-1. Have your last big meal 4 hours before you go to bed. So you don't want to go to bed with a full tummy. 4 hours before you go to bed, have your last big meal. 2 hours before you go to bed, start to get into dimmed environment. So try to turn off a couple of lights if you don't need them. And 1 hour before you go to bed, get into calm mode. Best put away your smartphones, your laptops, turn off TV. Instead, listen to music, read a book, have a chat with your spouse, a partner, a phone call, whatever. Have a walk, a slow walk. Do something that's relaxing for you. A hot bath. There's so many wonderful options. Your life quality will increase. That's number one. And you're going to be well prepared for sleep. So that's the package on how to win your days and your nights back. These are very simple to implement things. These are things that your overall life quality will benefit from and your sleep as a consequence. So pick up on these, get started with them. Just to bring it into context, I've got a proven 9-step system, bringing people step by step from feeling bad, having low energy levels, up to those high energy levels on the foundation of a deep and resting sleep. And these 9 proven steps are all tied into what you get in these sleep tips here. So typically when I do a podcast, it's typically related to one of those steps, whatever I do. But the tips that you got today spread over all of these nine steps. So take these, implement these. They're a good package to get started. I'm sure you're going to benefit from these. And give me your feedback. Drop me your feedback. Drop me an email at hello@sleeptrust.eu. Share your experience with others on social media. Drop me a comment on, underneath the post of this week's podcast. I'm sure you're going to help others, and I appreciate, as said, I really love to read your comments, and I'm always happy to help you too. So these were the distilled tips, and as always, you can say, okay, these are, a couple of them are, you might have heard them quite frequently, like get into a sleep schedule. But if you haven't implemented these, it's worth a try, but it's up to you. You can say, okay, no, that's kind of common wisdom here or there. I won't try that, but you can also pick up on these. It's a very simple, well thought package of things that you can do that I'm sure you will benefit from. I hope that you will benefit from these. I'm sure you will as soon as you implement them. And as promised, I've got a little present for you, and it's time to kind of unwrap this present, at least partly. I'm going to leave the complete unwrapping to you, obviously. If you go to sleeptrust.eu, so check out sleeptrust.eu, check out the show notes, and I'm going to give away an ebook for free where you will find the way how you can use the day and night switch of your body. Light is an essential part, but there are also other steps. A couple of them I share with you today, so check out that ebook. It's not a fat thing that you're going to take years to read. It's very, I think, to the point. It's entertaining. It's just a couple of pages with a couple of graphics. So check out the ebook. It's for free. It's my anniversary present for you. Check it out. And you'll find it at sleeptrust.eu in the show notes. I'm going to link it up and you can download it for free and unwrap the rest of the package. And with that, let's wrap up this week's episode of the Sleep Trust podcast. If you want a quick start finding back to superb sleep, winning back your days and your nights, then there are a couple of things that you want to do. First off, measure your progress. The second thing is to get into a regular sleep schedule, including weekends. The third thing is to get up in the morning the right way. Avoid using the snooze button. Instead, get up, drink a glass of water, and get into sunlight. And the fourth thing is to use and follow the 4-2-1 rule at nighttime to prepare you for a good night of sleep. Also, check out your anniversary present that you will find at sleeptrust.eu in the show notes of this week's episode. And that's it for this week's episode of the Sleep Trust podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's anniversary episode and that you tune in next week when we are going to talk about sleeping pills and the effect they have on our sleep and our bodies, our minds. Until then, have a superb sleep.
Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Sleeptrust podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to get further information on this podcast or material that will help you to gain back your sleep trust, please check out sleeptrust.eu. That's sleeptrust.eu, where you will get lots of information around sleep. And here comes some legal stuff. Everything on this podcast is my opinion only, so do not take it as an advice, as I am not a doctor, nor have I considered your personal situation. If you feel that you need medical advice, please consider getting an appointment at your doctor of trust. If you want to give me any kind of feedback on this podcast, feel free to email me at podcast@sleeptrust.eu. I hope you tune in again next week, and until then, have a good sleep.